Hi everybody, this is SWTOR Kamikaze, and I am currently on my Marauder, and I'm going to be going over the Fury spec. I will be going over things to know under the discipline path. However, I will not be going over everything, so please read each and every single one of these. This way you'll be able to potentially find something that will help you find your own rotation and just get started on your own path. I will also be going over utility points, which again, please read over everything. That way you're able to find a spec that will match your playstyle far better than what I have provided for you guys. I will of course be going over a basic rotation. And then if I have time, I will be going over some player tips for you all. So to get started, I'll be going with the utility points here. Under Skillful, I have Cloak of Carnage, which will increase the damage dealt by Cloak of Pain by 15% and increases duration by 4 seconds. I have Overwhelm, which allows the Ravage ability to immobilize the target for 3 seconds. And I have Brazen, which increases your damage reduction by 2%, and you build 2 Fury when you're attacked. Fury effect cannot occur more than once every 1.5 seconds. Some good substitutions will be Inexorable, which you generate 4 rage when you're stunned, immobilized, put to sleep, or knocked around. Additionally, your Unleash cooldown will be reduced by 30 seconds. Another one will be a Path Carver, which your Sweeping Slash will deal 25% more damage. And under Masterful, I have Relentless, which Predation no longer requires or consumes Fury, but will go on cooldown for 30 seconds when activated. This is actually rather good because this will allow you to use your Fury to activate your Berserk, which is what you want to spend your Fury on anyway. And Predation will be able to be used whenever, in case you want to run just a little bit faster for 10 seconds. Or you could use it hand in hand along with Berserk, or if you're like me, you could use it as if it's a defensive ability. I also have Strangulate, which reduces the cooldown of Force Choke by 15 seconds, which is my personal preference, as I use Force Choke often for both PvE and PvP purposes, as well as in duels. If you don't like that, then you could get Defensive Roll, which reduces damage taken from area effects by 30% and increases internal and elemental damage reduction by 3%. Under Heroic, I have Expunging Camouflage, which removes all cleansable effects when you activate Force Camo. I also have Undying, which increases the duration of Undying Rage by 2 seconds and reduces its cooldown by 30 seconds. Those are only 2 that I personally like under Heroic. However, when you read through, you might find something that you might like, and feel free to share in the comments section below. Under Legendary, I use Blood Ward. Activating Saber Ward grants immunity to stun, sleep, lift, and incapacitating effects for 6 seconds. And getting attacked while Saber Ward is active will heal you for 3% of your maximum health, and the healing effect cannot occur more than once every second. Good substitution will be Thirst for Rage, which allows your Bloodthirst to generate 12 rage when activated, and you heal for 1% of your maximum health whenever you activate an ability that consumes rage. Another good substitution, which I find to be a very good one, will be Ruthless Aggressor, which Vicious Throw refunds 2 rage when used on a target affected by your Obfuscate, and can be used on any target affected by your Obfuscate, regardless of remaining health. Additionally, activating Obfuscate grants you Ruthless Aggressor, increasing your force and tech resistance by 75% for 6 seconds. So things to know, well, your Force Charge and Blade Rate will cause your next ring to deal 5% more damage and generate 1 rage instead of consuming any rage. Most of your abilities will reduce active cooldown of Smash, Raging Burst, and Obliterate by a second each. Force Charge and Obliterate will cause your next Smash or Raging Burst within the next 20 seconds to crit. Your Berserk or Force Crush will cause your next Smash or Raging Burst to be cost free, and the increases its damage by 15%. Smash or Raging Burst will cause your target to be overwhelmed for 45 seconds, which increases the AoE damage that it takes by 10%. And lastly, Furious Strike will have a 15% increased damage bonus towards your next Raging Burst or Smash. As for your rotation, I'll start off with Force Charge, followed by Battering Assault, Force Scream, Force Crush, Furious Strike, Raging Burst, Ravage, and Dual Saber Throw. And then I'll be going through from using Obliterate to start over on the rotation, Battering Assault, and going through again. However, you notice on the screen that Ravage and Dual Saber Throw will likely be on cooldown. You could slow down a little bit to ensure that they'll be off of cooldown by the time you reach them, or you could just go through the rotation again and then to add them in from there. Things to note though is once Berserk is active, you will want to click on it to keep your focus here, or your rage, in order to keep that up, so you can keep going through your rotation. So let's get started with Force Charge, Battering Assault, Force Scream, Force Crush, Furious Strike, Raging Burst, Ravage, Dual Saber Throw, and it's going to be starting over again from Obliterate, Battering Assault, Force Scream, Force Crush, Furious Strike, click on Berserk, Raging Burst, Ravage, Dual Saber Throw, and then just keep going. Over and over. That is the basic of your rotation. So some player tips for everybody. I'll be starting off by clicking on Y in order to bring up my legacy screen. And then I'm currently going to be in Global Unlock and Other. So I recommend that with Legacy of Unity, you have to have at least one character on your Legacy to max out your last side attunement. So that way you can unlock the Unity ability, which is essentially another defensive ability that requires your companion to be out in order to use. But what it does is it is going to cause you to take 50% reduced damage for 15 seconds. I personally find that very helpful when you get into a tight spot. Ship unlocks, you do not have to have anything except if you're like me, or as you can tell on my video, that I'm on my personal starship. If you're like me and you like to use your training dummies in private instead of on the fleet, then I recommend you get the Operations and Warzone training dummies, as well as the Repair Droid. To show you real quick, what the Repair Droid offers is the training dummy, arm reduction, health modulator, and standard health. But what these will do is they will change out your training dummy. So the way you can change out what you're currently working on, whether it be tanking, your damage, DPS, or even your test out your healing. That way you can test all of them out before your next operation or war zone or whatever. Under convenience, I recommend that you max out your legacy fleet pass, so that way your fleet pass will have 0 cooldown. Legacy travel, again your quick travel will have no cooldown, as well as your priority transport improvement for personal starship. That way that has no cooldown, and you will end up being able to port all over the place all day for no reason, just to annoy some guild members if they're trying to keep up with you. I also recommend that you get tactical markers. That way, if you're in charge for the operation as well as flashpoints, you can mark out where you want where each role to be at before the boss fight, and hopefully it will avoid chaotic spree and allow the boss fight to run smoothly, or at least smoother. Then I also recommend getting your improved mounting. I find this to be rather fun and addicting because it allows you to mount as you are moving. And if you go from an account that has this to an account that does not have it, you may find it to be rather crappy and makes you want to buy it again. Under character perks, under advancement, I recommend you get whatever you're focusing on, such as war zones, flashpoints, or if you're doing your class missions. I find the exploration one go hand in hand perfectly with class missions. Under travel, I recommend, of course, the personal starship, as mentioned earlier. This allows you to go from the middle of the planet and middle of nowhere. It allows you to click on it and go straight to your starship, which works fantastic if you have to go to your starship to progress in your storyline, or if you have to get somewhere. Side planets such as CZ-198 and the Black Hole is also useful if you're not sure where to find them on the galactic map. Under convenience, I recommend you get the field repair droid, so that way you can sell and repair anywhere, including in the middle of operations. Hey, everybody loves them in the middle of operations, as long as you're not dropping in the middle of a boss fight. I also recommend your field respec, so that way you don't have to go to the fleet in order to repair or go to the fleet in order to respec. You're able to respec anywhere, and especially if you have to replace it as a healer or tank, because one drops in the middle of the flashpoint or op. All of them are useful, but those are the two I recommend getting first. Under companion, I recommend you get the Legacy of Promptness, because it reduces the time taken to give gifts to companions by a total of 60%. This is going from 3 seconds down to roughly 1.6, and that's per gift. And then I also recommend Legacy of Altruism, which increases the amount of companion influence gained from companion gifts by a total of 30%. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys for this video, and I wish you luck, and welcome to playing a Fury Marauder.